Hiya, it's Graham from Eagle Ukes here. As promised yesterday at the practice, so we're going through I'll See You in My Dreams, a suggestion from Sharon and David and a few others, and it's a nice slow ballad, or a lovely slow song that Joe Brown tends to finish his sets off with, but it's got quite a few new tricky chords and runs in it, but they're only tricky if you haven't practiced. Once you practice anything over and over, it's repetition, slow repetition, and you'll master anything. But it's got this unusual iconic start, this run, which is F, D minor, F major 7, which is, I tend to keep the D minor shape, and then I'll just put my little finger on the 3rd string of the 4th fret. But if you don't have to do that. If you would rather stretch across with another finger and then go back to your D minor, you can do. I find that quite tricky to do, especially on this tenor scale instrument. So I would tend to do F, D minor, and put my little finger on the 3rd string of the 4th fret, and then take it off, it's back to the D minor. So you do 2 bars of that as the intro, or we do in our version. I think Joe does 4, but in our version it's too long and tricky. Just keep it down to 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So that's the intro, and it's this iconic start, and then the first line you still use that little passage that we done there, that little 4-chord passage. Though the days are long. Yeah. So practice that slowly. The main thing is, you'll notice with this finger you've got to really arch it, because if you don't, if you catch any of these strings underneath, it's awful. If you've tried that, you get it to speed. D minor, F major 7, D minor, F, D minor, F major 7, D minor. It won't be any faster than that. But if you really find you've got arthritis in your fingers and you can't possibly, I mean, this isn't a get out, whatever you do, it's not a get out from jail free card, but you can get away if you really have got problems stretching your fingers across and you really can't hit that F major 7 chord. Your run can just be F, D minor, like, and again F, D minor, F, D minor. So whenever you see that sequence on the music of the F, D minor, F major 7 back to D minor, you can substitute that for F, D minor, F, D minor. So it keeps everybody happy. But do try it. Don't just sneak out of it like, well, I could do it, but I want to sneak. If you really tried it for a while and it just didn't come and you can't stretch those fingers, then there are other ways around it. The next bits in the tune that will only cause any problems is we've got a B flat minor. We've done B flat minors before. You can either do them, it's the 1st, 2nd and 3rd string on the 1st fret. You can either do it in a D shape, you strum all, don't worry, this has got a low G string on here, so it might sound a bit different on your ukulele, but you still put the fingers in the same position. So you can do your D shape on the 1st fret, so it's covering the 1st, 2nd and 3rd string, or what I tend to do is use my 1st finger just to bar. I leave the top string open, I just bar the first 3 strings. But I still play all 4 strings. That's my B flat minor. It's a beautiful chord. And we also have a C minor. Again, you can just fret that the same as your B flat minor with the first 3 strings. Or you can actually, because you've got a bit more room now, you can use that D shape. Use your D shape on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd string of the 3rd fret. And it's quite useful to do it that way, because later on in the tune we're going from C minor to D, C minor to D. Yeah, and that way, because you've got the shape in your fingers, you can just move it down a string and along a fret. So move that whole block down a string and along a fret. So you've got C minor to your D. Yeah. So that's about the hard bits in the song, and the only other bit at the end is the tablature. And the best thing to do is to just keep your first finger on the second string of the first fret, and the tab, you're just picking a string at a time. So the tab reads, if you look at the tab, it reads 0 on the A string, 1 on the E string, then 0 on the C string, back to 1 on the E string, 0 or open, there's nothing on that A, and back, just hit your E string, A string. So it's, if you want to count the strings, it's first string, second string, third string, second string, first string, second string, first string, second string, and then that you'll see in the tablature it's written 5 5 5 8. In other words, you're going to go 5 5 5, cover them with your first three fingers, and you can move your little finger onto the A string to the eighth fret of the A string. And that gives you a high F. Instead of, like, you can finish on an F, a normal F, if you want, if you find that difficult. What I tend to do, rather than doing that, like a D position and then the little finger stretching over to the 8th fret on the A string, I tend to make it easier for myself. I'll just bar that 5th fret, make sure your thumb is well behind there, so you can really press. You can might even, that's got to be, all those 4 have got to be clamped, otherwise you get this, you get all sorts of things. So to bar a chord, do practice barring bar chords, press down hard right across your first fret with your, so all 4 strings are covered by your first finger, thumbs behind, pressing as hard as you can, and then you need a finger on your A string on the 8th fret. So that little dot shows you where the 7th fret is, so it's 1 further down towards this hole here in the ukulele, towards the bridge. So I tend to use my little finger. I'll take them out the way so you can see. Yeah? If you want to use your 3rd finger you can, if you can stretch. But these are in the way, but it's, so the little tablature at the end is nice and slow, is 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Or if I count the strings, remember, keep your finger, it's an easy way to do this, is to keep your first finger on the 2nd string of the 1st fret. So then you just hit the strings with your thumb, you're just picking a string at a time. So it's 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, 1st string, 2nd string, and then your F. So it's nice and slow. And when you do that final chord, that final high F chord, it's an octave above that F. It just sounds nicer. Roll it. If you're using your first finger, I tend to always use my thumb. So you get this, don't go, it's the end of the piece, so really, yeah. And that's about the hardest parts for it. You'll see there is a piece when it goes, they will light my lonely way tonight, which goes from C minor to D, and it's 2 strokes on each. C minor, they, and 2 on D, and back to 2 on C minor. See, I'm just moving that D position, keeping those 3 fingers together, my D position, and moving it from D down a string along a fret to C minor. They will light my, and then you go back into your normal strumming for your A. Lonely way tonight, I'll see you in my dream. Yeah, well, I hope that's give you some insights. And I'm going to knock this video off now, and then I'm going to put another one up with me playing it at a reasonable speed. So once you've practiced all those little bits, it'll give you an idea. I'll be back in a minute.